when I was in Hong Kong, I went back there. The last time I was there was 2018, and I bought when you buy things for the dead to burn.
Yes.
So I bought an iPhone, and I drew Grindr on it, and I burned it for Leslie Chung. Because I thought, he's he doesn't have Grindr on his phone. So I got him a new cardboard iPhone, and I drew Grindr, and I'm like, you can use this.
That is in heaven. So cute.
It was really cute.
I think he's using it. He's getting dicks.
A lot of dick.
Hi guys, I'm Jiaoying Summers. Welcome back to Tiger Milf Podcast. Today is the reason why I started this podcast, and today is the best day of my life. I'm sitting at her house, and you know who she is. And she is a pride and joy of all of us girls, us Asian people. And her name is not about the skin color. Her name is the name. It's not about her gender. Her name is a name that she represents bravery, brilliance. Today we have the great Margaret Cho.
That's so wonderful. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you. It's such an honor.
It's such an honor for me to be at your beautiful home. And Lucia is my friend now.
She loves you.
She really does. Yes, Lucia.
She's a big fan. She's really a big fan.
So adorable.
She's like she hasn't stopped. Like ever since you walked in, she's just like all on you.
She likes me.
She loves you.
Your new friend.
She's so into you.
She has a little hand like a little baby. She's
just like trying to hold.
Yeah.
Like this is okay. All right. That's enough. Let her talk. She's so funny. She's so into you.
So beautiful.
Oh, I'm glad you're here.
I'm so happy to be here. Love your beautiful home.
Thank you.
We have a lot of beautiful art.
Yeah.
So you love to collect arts.
I collect art, and then I also make a mess. So it's also like all of my art things, like collect art, and then I make art, and then all my dumb stuff is all over the place. And my cat furniture is everywhere. And usually nobody comes here. So this is very special. I'm really glad you're here.
I'm very special. I feel so special.
Yeah, you are.
My life will never be the same.
It's great.
I just want to thank you for being so generous with your time.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you for being Margaret Cho.
Thank you.
Your name is a motivational speech. I feel like not just for girls, not just for Asian people. I think it's just so wonderful. You and Bruce Lee.
Wow!
Yeah,
wow! That's incredible.
Yeah, you and Bruce Lee. And when I think about you, I don't think of Asian female comic. Nobody think of that. You're just the great comedian.
Oh, thank you.
And happen to be an Asian woman.
Yeah.
That's really it is.
That's wonderful.
And, thank you for everything you do. And thank you for so generous with your time with a lot of up-and-coming comedian stars like Atsuko. And she was on my podcast.
Yeah,
and
she's great.
Talked about how much she loves you and how you empower her so much. Yeah. Because it's such a tough business. And it's tougher for you than for all of us now because you've opened the door for us and you continue to keep the door open for us.
Thank you. Well, it's important because you have to carry on the legacy. Like you have to continue to go out there and work and create these places so that the next generation can go. You know, we have so much to do because we're really generating the entire landscape of Asian American comedy. So it's really important.
Yes. And I know, we know how hard comedy is for people to have it as a career. Would you, if you have a young Asian comic come to you, ask advice, and the parents ask you, would you encourage them to chase or be like, be a doctor? Just don't have your heart broken, or you're like,
it's harder to be a doctor, I think. I would say it is way harder because, comedian, you don't necessarily have to go to school. You just have to go and do sets, which is a little different. I mean, I think also you just have to want to do it
Yeah.
as well. I mean, if somebody wants to do it, if like there's like a young Asian comedian and they want to do it, that's like mostly half of like the battle is the desire to do it, because most people are very scared to do comedy.
Yes, it's very, very scary.
Didn't you always want to do it? Did you always sort of think, oh, this is what I want to be?
I think when I love to be a performer, I knew that deep in my heart, and it was very difficult in China because we have a different beauty standard in East Asia. Me having dark skin and big jaw and big cheeks, and I was never picked for school play. I wasn't encouraged to be a performer because I wasn't beautiful in the traditional sense. They wanted girls with pale skin. They wanted skinny girls, and I wasn't looking like that. But I just refused to believe that I cannot do it. I want to feel like maybe there's something wrong. It's temporary, that I'm not good looking enough.
That's so crazy because you're such a beautiful girl. Like
Thank
that's
you.
so weird to me.
It is so weird.
It's
and
so
the thing
weird
stopping
because-
me is me being not attractive, because people, my nickname was cage fighter. They call me a cage fighter because I was so dark. I love the sun. I don't care. But they don't want little girls to get tanned in Asia, East
But
Asia.
I don't even perceive you as dark. I don't even know what that means. Like, what is like?
I think if you look like you are not a zombie, you are too dark in East Asia.
Yeah.
Because I look like people think I'm Filipina or like from Thailand because they got the sun.
Oh yeah. I don't
for
know.
us, like Koreans and Japanese and Chinese, like they just they want you to be like a pale white, like traditional vice. They want that, but it's getting so much better now. You can see like a K-pop. We have the K-pop stars like tanned, and in Japan, there's people are getting tanned. It just need to happen because same as in America, people get sick from being tanned. They get cancer. But in China, the skin bleaching agents, like it's in everywhere. It's in lotion. It's in foundation.
Yeah.
And people want to buy the product if they keep wearing it. They look lighter. Like, oh, that's good for me. I'm getting lighter. But they are bleaching their skin.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's just so different. We are destroying ourselves for different standards.
Right.
And whatever people doing in America is what people don't do in China. I just really started watching Hollywood movies, but the sad thing is that the stand-up comedy does not exist in Asia. When I was growing up, we didn't know there's a thing called stand-up comedy. And you are the woman. I think after you became Margaret Cho, stand-up comedy started to get more popular, I think, in Korea, because you are Korean American. So, but I think in China, it's not until recent,
Right.
like 5-6 years ago, when Joe Wang did this White House correspondent dinner, he went back to China, and then they start to be like, wow, we have great Asian comedians in America, Margaret Cho, and after you, Joe Wang, and then stand-up comedy started popular. So I didn't know I can do comedy, and because I always was funny, because I wasn't the pretty girl. I still want attention. I want people to like me. I try to tell jokes. I try to be funny, and I think I watch Hollywood movies. I see beautiful like Latino girls and black girls. They have dark skin. They obviously are very beautiful. So I think there's something wrong with the beauty standard. I just kept this dream in my heart. I want to go to America to become a performer. So I came here when I was 18 for college. I knew I want to go to college, and then I want to come to Hollywood and start to become an actor.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And then when did you start doing comedy here?
I think I have this problem with auditioning, is that my accent is not good. I have an accent, and I don't have a musical ear, so I was trying to lose my accent. But I started learning English when I was 18 years old. It was a little late for me to not have an accent, and that became the problem. The acting, I got a call back, and then eventually they evaluated. They just really prefer to have a girl with no accent. Also, if the character has an accent, they want this girl have an American accent and put on a fake Asian accent. They don't want a real Asian accent. So it's a lot of rejection. And this is one day I auditioned for this TV show called Rebel, John Singleton's TV show. Rebel is about black girl. She's a cop. She has Asian sidekick. Her right hand is an Asian girl from Oakland that I auditioned for. And I remember John Singleton asked me to do some improv, and I started improvising, and he started laughing so hard.
Oh, good.
Laughing. And then he walked to me, and he put out his phone, and he's like, do you know what is stand-up comedy? I said, no. He said, this is Ali Wong's Baby Cobra. Do you know who's Margaret Cho? I said, yeah. He's like, you should try stand-up comedy.
Oh, that's great.
I know who you are. I watched you on TV shows, and I know you are a stand-up comedian. I didn't know I can do what you do, because if I cannot even audition with things written for me to memorize, how can I do what you do? Because you write everything. You are your own director, writer.
Right.
And that's just something. With all the rejection in auditioning, I knew there's no way in hell I could even consider to do stand-up. He told me, if you do stand-up, you work very hard, you find your voice, you can do acting.
Yeah, totally.
Because you claimed that you have an accent and that's who you are.
Yeah.
He followed up. And we became friends. And eventually, I went back to China. I hosted Shanghai Film Festival. I got married to a Shanghainese man because I just still didn't think I can do it. When I had my first baby, I really realized that I have to be on stage. If I can't be an actress, I need to do my first open mic.
Yeah. That's
2019,
great.
that's when I did my first open mic.
Wow.
And in 1 month, I bought a comedy club for myself on Melrose.
Wow.
It's still going strong. It's pretty good. It's doing well. It's not big, 40 seats. I just know I was so bad and I loved it so much. It's like you are like you're trying to please your parents. You want them to be happy, and you are not good at math. You're like, I'm gonna study all night, every day until I'm good, so they don't hit me. So I love comedy so much. I knew I love it. It made me feel so good, but I wasn't good. It's so hard. It's such a hard craft.
It is a hard craft. It's also like you have to keep working at it, and there's no way that you're ever really there, like, because you always have to keep trying, you always have to keep writing, you always have to have new jokes, you always have to continue to work. It's not like a singer, because we don't have like hits. People don't want to hear the same jokes over and over, so you have to do new ones, but they also have to fit in the framework of who they believe you to be and who you believe you to be. So it's a real challenge to continue to figure out, how do I do this in a way that's different but also the same? Yeah. So it's interesting. It's something that it's taken a lifetime for me to still figure out. I try to do different things, and I try to work around things, and I'm always amazed at, like, I don't even know how this works, but it works. It's good.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I realized I need a stage time, and the open micing is not enough. So I bought this club and I started to host open mic 10 hours a day. Oh, wow. Every day. And that really helped me to find my voice and even learn how to hold a microphone, how to be not nervous on stage. Yeah. And that was just like so important. I was so lucky I got to have that club. And then after I started to do better, we just produce a lot of shows on the weekends. We have Asian male lead, Asian female lead, all these Asian people. We have a lot of Asian shows with all Asian lineup. Wow. Which we just, everybody's Asian, people are like, it's not going to sell. And it always sell out because it will sell. People say it won't sell because they don't want to see that much Asian on the lineup, but it will sell out. Yeah. And I feel so lucky I'm able to provide this stage for people like me who don't get booked often because when you start, nobody want to book you. But
it's hard to get like past at these clubs. Like it's hard to get your foot in the door. Also, especially like in LA or like New York, there's not a lot of places because a lot of places are like waiting for people who are already famous who want to come in and work on their act, because we all have to keep working on it. Yes. So stage time is limited, and it's hard to sort of break in when you're new. But then if you own a club, then you can just run it yourself. Yes. That's great.
Yeah, I got lucky. I have it. The more I learn, the more I know how hard it is. And then it amuses me sometimes when something works out. It's so addictive. Yeah. It make you, one joke works out, I'll be happy for 2 weeks. Yeah. I always have to whenever, that's the best feeling. Go back and go, oh, this works. And I'm like, oh, well, then maybe something else can work. Gives me confidence to do something else. Yeah. It's really great. Yeah. It's my favorite. I think I was planning on leaving my husband because he's very mentally abusive. I didn't know he was mentally abusive because my mom was very verbally abusive. She's just being a really regular traditional Chinese mom. We are very close now, but she's just verbally abusive, very. And I think at the beginning my husband was so charming and nice, and he's a Chinese man, became very verbally abusive, calling me fat, calling me unattractive. I don't have makeup on. I was like, I didn't have boundaries because I feel like the way like a traditional Asian girl growing up is that we get punished when we have boundaries. Like when you don't listen, you know that's wrong. So I was trained to not have boundaries. So I just assumed that he loves me, he cared about me, he wants me to watch myself. But eventually it got really bad. It got really bad to a point that it got physical. So I want to leave him.
Yeah.
I didn't know how, but I realized that I have to make comedy work.
Yeah.
I need to make it happen, and it's not going to happen because it's just going to take you at least 10 years because this is so hard. So I decided to just work nonstop, go to club 10 hours a day, just do it, then start posting my jokes on social media, see which one on TikTok, see which joke works. It helps me find my voice faster because the algorithm, if something goes viral, that's the topic people like to hear. So I work more on that. And so with social media and working so much, I start to make some money, and I thought, oh my God, I need to work harder so I can take the kids with me.
Yeah.
Because you don't have money, I can't take the children, and I don't think I'll leave him if I cannot be with the children.
Yeah.
I have to be with them.
Of course.
So I was able to take the kids, and I didn't take any money from him. I just my offer was, you take all the money, I take the 2 children, and that's what I want, and he agreed to it.
That's good.
So I start over from be on my own, and it was so empowering.
That's wonderful.
Help me with my boundaries so much. When some man I'm dating is being abusive, and where am I gonna bye? Yeah, because I'm here to set an example for my daughter. I want her to know that something is off limits, and we don't have to put up for anything.
So important. It's so hard because it's like, I've been in so many abusive relationships because I just didn't know I could set those boundaries, or that we're not raised like Asian women, even if we're like, in different generations, we're from different generations. So, but still, like the mentality that they put you, like you're supposed to just do what these men say, and you just, like you're supposed to accept it. And it was really hard for me to understand or trust my own internal voice saying this is wrong, this is bad. And it's also made like a really, I kind of find it very hard to date anyway. Like I'm sort of on a dating, like I'm not interested. I don't know. I'm also 55. So that sort of, I think that all of that is very, I might not be, I'm not want to do it anymore.
Yeah. It's too complicated. Like I after my separation with my husband, I was not seeing anybody. I was celibate for 10 months. I just don't even want to have sex with any human. It's hard. It's hard to date, not just in LA. I mean, as a female comedian, it's very hard to date, I feel like. I was talking to Adam Carolla, and he said, well, they still try to date, but it is hard for us to date. Male comedians easier to date. Yeah,
I think so. But then male comedians are so ugly.
Yeah. But girls, we make them cute when they are funny.
Yeah,
every time they're funny, they are cuter here.
But we're not impressed by funny guys.
We are not.
We're not.
We are not.
We're just not impressed by funny guys because we just know so many funny guys. So we're just like, oh well,
Do you have like the guy want to date you and they try to tell you jokes because try to impress you, and you're just like,
yeah. It's like don't do it. Don't do it. I mean, but it's just but yeah, there's like I don't know, like I think a lot of women like they're like attracted to comics. I'm just like, ugh. Or when you see like comedy groupies that are like these girls who love male comics, I'm just like, so horrified.
Oh my God.
It's so sad. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah,
so
be a
sad.
groupie for somebody, a hot musician,
I know.
Yeah, that would be
like,
sexy.
It would be sexy, but it's just it's a really funny thing.
Yeah, but I think male comedians, it's easier for them to find a girlfriend. It's harder for us to find a boyfriend.
Yeah, it's harder because there's just something very intimidating about women in power. I don't know, but I date women too. That's easier. I think it's a little bit easier, but it's a very, it is weird. Like if I'm dating a guy, like I don't like necessarily want to invite him to my shows or anything. I always feel like it's weird. I don't know.
I remember I was on this dating app for like a little bit while. It's the first time I got on this app. It's called The League. It's so stupid. And whenever there's a guy I think is cute enough to match with me, I'll just like, hey, I want you to come to my show so you see the level of craziness you can handle to see me like the next day for coffee. So they'll come to the show, and then they just like the first time they see you crazy, they're like fascinated. Then they go to have coffee with you. Then gradually they get to know me. They don't want to talk to me anymore because I'm just such an alpha female.
Yeah,
you are so alpha because as you command the world, you are Margaret. Like that's who you are. Your energy commands the stage, commands, and I feel like when you go to a room and with his friends and the people start talking, you just start cracking jokes without you knowing it, because the cracking jokes, making everybody laugh is such an alpha move.
Yeah.
It's in control.
Yeah.
Make the man feel like insecure, I think.
Yeah. It's just like how I think I would always operate, but also I just think feeling like alpha, feeling in control it's also kind of a trauma response.
It is a trauma. Oh my God, that's my trauma response.
Yeah.
Of my life.
Yeah.
It's like if I have power, they can't abandon me.
Right. Because we're so used to being abandoned that we have to have control. For me, it's like I'm so used to being controlled, I have to overcompensate.
Yeah.
By being ultra in control. Like not alpha, like sigma. Female,
Sigma.
It's
I love
very
that's my new nickname, Sigma.
It's so sigma, but it's really it's confusing. Like, how do I even navigate? So now my trauma response, or I don't know what it is, but it's like to retreat. Like I don't know. Like I think, maybe I'll date again. I don't know. Maybe I'll entertain that idea again, but I'm sort of not sure.
It's very difficult. So when you grew up in San Francisco, the greatest comedian either grew up there or found their voice there.
Yeah,
Margaret Cho, Lenny Bruce went there, George Carlin went there, and also Lenny Bruce. I already said him, and Richard Pryor when he had this like a bottom, he drove to Berkeley. I mean, more,
There's
more.
The person that I really loved was Paula Poundstone. She was really something. Like I would just follow her. I would go see her shows all the time, and she impressed me so much because she was so improvisational and just so. You do a lot of that, like a lot of crowd work. That's really great. Like I don't really do that. You're so good at it.
Oh, thank you.
You're really, really good at it.
You.
Like it's really magic. When you can make something out of what's happening there. And that's what Paula would do. So you would like Paula Poundstone.
Amazing.
But it's like a very, I just worshipped her. And there was so many different people. But yeah, comedy in San Francisco was great because there were so many clubs and everybody was going out to see it. And there was a lot of radio shows that would feature comedians.
I see.
So I had comedy in my ear all day, and then I would go out and see shows and I was like really just a young person. Like I shouldn't have even been in these clubs. So I was way too young to be there, but I loved it.
There's the Hungry Eye. Was it in San Francisco?
This was after the Hungry Eye, but there was a place called the Other Cafe, which was really amazing, and that was a big place in the 1980s. So that's one of the places I started at.
Wow. So Phyllis Diller also started there.
Phyllis Diller, yeah, she was around there.
Everybody, it's magical about San Francisco. I mean, Artie Wang, after she's also from San Francisco.
She's from San Francisco.
All the greatest.
All of the greatest.
Yeah, wow. There's something about San Francisco.
Yeah.
That it's a lot like you. You are ahead of your time.
Yes. It's also a rebellious place, So I think anybody who's sort of a little bit ahead of that, ahead of the curve, ahead of free thinker, whatever.
Intelligence.
Yeah.
Too. San Francisco is smart.
It's for people who are rebellious and smart and artistic.
Yes. So when you were growing up, was your parents, they are like the first generation immigrants?
Yeah.
So you were second generation?
So what is first? His first is a coming here, and then second is born here. So
yeah.
I guess I'm second. Yeah, yes. You're right. Yes. I'm second.
So they must be like Tiger moms, your mom?
Not really. They were, they're kind of passive. I mean, in a way, because I was so Americanized and so rebellious. Like I was just like punk and queer, and they didn't know what to do. They were just very confused.
Were they like a super fancy people who came for like a PhD, or they came just to see? That's the difference because they are so educated.
Yeah. So they came. My mother had emigrated from Korea to France, and then from France to America. So she was a French teacher and like was speaking French, and like, you know, she was like, oh, I'm going to live in Paris and be there. But then they ended up moving here to San Francisco in 1964. So they, you know, we're here like kind of like maybe for class. I mean, we didn't have that much money, but we did have sort of like, I guess, an educational advantage. Wow. So they were both
super intelligent,
really smart, but also pretty independent thinkers. So, you know, not necessarily like a lot of people that came.
Wow. I'm fresh off the boat. I came here by myself to go to college in Kentucky.
Wow. Where did you go to school in Kentucky?
UK, University of Kentucky. I just I really want to come to America. I feel like I can just be me. I don't have to worry about being lighter and lose weight.
Yeah.
Because I'm not skinny. I have big bone. I have thick bone. I'm not like skinny. Now I'm older, busy like running around nonstop, working nonstop. I naturally lose my weight, but like I was never skinny and pale skin, and I just don't want to make an effort. I felt there's something wrong about the beauty standard, and I feel like if I go to America, it's more diverse because I see people curvy, dark, beautiful women, and I just really think this is not an end. I don't have to admit, okay, I'm unattractive, or like let me starve myself and bleach my skin so I can be attractive. I think there's another way, and I wanted to go to America, and my first offer from college was from University of Kentucky. I just want to get a visa before my mom changed her mind. I know I can always go from Kentucky to New York. Yeah. I just need to leave. Yeah. Leave. And then I went to Kentucky.
Yeah. What did you like live in? What was in Lexington?
Lexington. Yeah. It's a little blue spot.
It's a little kind of liberal city.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Yeah. That's cool.
People were pretty nice to me. Yeah. Actually. The meanest person was when I was working as a waiter in a Japanese restaurant. A Chinese guy owns it. He was very mean to me. No. Because I didn't have a green card, so he made me to do all the disgusting jobs, like clean the bathroom. Whenever there's like somebody vomited, he wanted me to go clean it up. Oh, horrible. Yeah, because I don't have a choice. I got paid cash and I can't legally work. I'll do whatever to do it. But it's hard. Yeah. Well, you don't have to do it anymore. Thank God.
Which is good.
It's good.
The best.
Yes. I want to talk about how much you empowered the AAPI queer community. Yeah. Because I had a lot of friends in America, also in China, who is in the community. My friend like Gai Tang, he talked about you. He's a hairdresser. He's a gay Asian boy. Yes. And he talked about how much you empowered him to be wonderful. Just like to be like I'm great, I'm cool. It must be like I think you are the leading figure in the community, who's a huge celebrity, who's like because in our community we just try not to make our parents angry, and we make ourselves unhappy too. It's so sad. Please them. Because it's like, why are we doing that? Like, why are we holding our own happiness hostage? I mean, they're holding our happiness hostage. Like, they're not allowing us to just like celebrate our lives because of some idea of who we should be. It's really insane. Yeah. The older generations, like the hold on, I think, Asian Americans, it's really like, you know, the reason why there's not as many of us in the arts, that's why there's not as many of us out there, you know, doing different stuff. So it's really frustrating. I have a lot of friends in Korea who are in the closet, which is really sad. They also get married. Or they have these wives. Deals with other people. Yeah. And they get married, and they also have boyfriends. It's super unhappy. Yeah. Very unhappy. It's really awful. And I feel so bad, you know, because like, why can't you just be free? It's your life. Yeah. Like, and also, why are you seeking the approval of people
that would not approve of something like, it's just all it is like somebody you want to love, which I think is really, that's none of their business.
It's not their business. And the point about Asian parents, they will never be happy about you anyways.
I know. They're not going to be happy because they're not happy.
Yeah, they won't be happy about you anyways.
Well, they made so many compromises in their lives to please the older generation. For them, they're like, well, you have to do that for us. But it doesn't have to work that way.
Yeah, and the funny thing about being in China is most people are in the closet. And when some woman is so furious, like Jinxing, she is a transgender woman. She was a man. She's a dancer. Then she transitioned into a woman. She's so sure of herself, and she became a woman. She's a gorgeous woman, and she became one of the most successful TV show, late night show host. That she basically she just said, I am a trans woman, and I'm better than all of the other women. I'm getting the job, and that was kind of mind blowing. On one side, we majority of people are in the closet. One side is just like this trans woman who, even the trans right in America is so behind. People are debating they can't use this bathroom, they can't do this. This woman just making all the money, being famous. People are quoting her, like the gay kids worship her. It's just really crazy. I think it's such a savage thing because she didn't care. She was like, I don't care what's your rules or regulations. I'm just a better host than everybody.
That's good. And
that's just she's a lot like I think of you is that I think your fans love you so much. It's because you are so true to yourself, and you took all the bullets for everybody, and you just stand in the front, and you are true to yourself, and you made it okay. Yeah, for us to be okay with ourselves. Yeah, the way we look Asian, and that's what we're gonna look, and we're always gonna look like this. We either hide or just going to blow up that face, be like, that's what we look like. Yeah, and that's great. Yeah, and it's just so empowering. Thank you. You are so brave.
Well, I think it's like just not having a choice because I just wanted to do it, and I sort of didn't care.
It must be so hard for you. I know you spend a lot of time in the club since you were very young, and so you are very good at what you do. But when you were starting out, it's not just hard for an Asian female; it's hard for female.
For females, and for also females. Like there was no Asian people, and there was very few women. Like it was just really weird. Yeah. But I remember one of my first gigs, they used I didn't have a headshot, so they used a photo, like it was a caricature of a Chinese railroad worker from the 1800s eating a bowl of rice with chopsticks with the buck teeth and the queue, like the braid. And to represent me as one of the comics, they put a caricature, a racist caricature like that in the window. And I was like, they took it down, but I was like, they were actually trying to help. They thought I would like it. They thought that I would like it. Oh, wow. So that's how backwards things were. Wow. But you just kind of go, oh, okay. And I just was able to continue to just do shows. I just kept doing them. I don't know. Like it just made it so was weird to come up against that. And like in the 80s, every comic had like an Asian driver joke. It was all this like Asian driver comedy. And then I would have to go on and sort of deflect that. And audiences would feel like I was going to guilt them out. Like, I'm like, how could you do that? How could you laugh at that? That's fucking racist. And so, I was almost like a cultural police in a way. And I didn't even know like what that meant. And it was hard to figure out like, what was the balance of like, do you do material about being Asian or do you not do any material about it? Like, don't even mention it. That was sort of a thing of like, that's a possibility too. Like maybe I can kind of skate by, like they're not going to know it. They might think I'm white if I don't even talk about it. Like it's a weird thing. So identity was always part of it. So I always had to sort of lean into it, especially then because there was just nobody out there like me. And only recently have I seen, and it took like 20 plus years to see another Asian woman do a comedy special, and that was Ali Wong. Wow. When I saw her, I was like, this is like finally the first time that I can actually sit down and enjoy somebody else doing this. Yeah. Because nobody had done that. So it was really important.
Yes. Thank you for all the things you've done.
Thank you.
I can't even imagine how difficult it is. You are by yourself.
Yeah.
You are a warrior. You are your own army for us.
Yes.
And that's why, like, your gender, you happen to be a woman. You are the Asian god and goddess
Yes.
by yourself, fighting along. And you know that you are going to lose so much fans if you identify as a queer, as an Asian huge figure. And you're like, that's who I am. And that's actually one of your identities is your bravery. And that's just so impressive because a lot of huge celebrities, you know, they are gay, but they won't tell you. Even in the 80s, oh my God.
Yeah,
like
nobody
in Hong
was
Kong,
out.
like nobody's gay.
Nobody
you know
was
they're
out.
all gay.
Yeah, when I was in Hong Kong, I went back there. The last time I was there was 2018, and I bought when you buy things for the dead to burn.
Yes.
So I bought an iPhone, and I drew Grindr on it, and I burned it for Leslie Chung. Because I thought, he's he doesn't have Grindr on his phone. So I got him a new cardboard iPhone, and I drew Grindr, and I'm like, you can use this.
That is
in heaven.
So cute.
It was really cute.
I think he's using it. He's getting dicks.
A lot of dick. You got to get dick in the afterlife, you know.
Yeah,
and I
he
just
needs
thought,
to get it.
I thought it was like real. I always think about him, you know, how he jumped off of this
Four
hotel.
Seasons?
Yeah.
4 Seasons.
Yeah, he jumped off, and he called his hag, and he just landed right when she was like coming up to the hotel. It's like so tragic to me.
So sad.
He was so sad, but his movies and his music live on.
Yes. 风继续吹 is like the wind that kept blowing. One of the song I love a lot. He's such a beautiful man.
Yeah.
I mean, even now in Hong Kong, there's nobody's really openly gay. They are still afraid. And you are such an icon.
Thank you.
Do you like? I want to like when you came out, what was happening?
I think it was never really officially, like, I've just always sort of been queer. I've never actually really even ever had a sort of a coming out.
Yeah, you're just always like,
I was just always out, you know, and never, I always addressed it in my comedy, and I never really thought to actually make an official statement about it.
Yeah, so, I think that's why it's so powerful, because you are everything who you are. Yeah. And there's a lot of people, they would have for the career they have, there's this period of time they are this, next period they are that. There's a lot of things like that. It's like the strategy. Your strategy is authenticity. Yeah, that's really powerful. So. Thank you. That's amazing. I'm just so happy to be here. I'm happy. I'm nervous in a good way. I'm not stuttering. Yeah. I'm just humbled. Yeah. And listening to you talking about the craft is really inspiring. Yeah. Yes. It's wonderful. It's wonderful that you're doing so much work, because it's like, that's how we get better. Like, I think a lot of times comics don't do enough work, you know, and that's the price. We have to really work on it all the time. And so that's why I try to do as many sets as I can. And I try to do other things too. Like I try to do like different kinds of performance and different kinds of like art, just to keep my mind alive. That's so amazing. So I saw your Joan Rivers pillow, and I would love to get some of your encounters and some of your friendship stories. She was just oddly, she was a fan. Like, she really wanted to come see me, and like, so she would come, and she would like come to see my shows, especially in New York, and you know, she would ask me out to dinner, and you know, we talked a lot about comedy, and we talked a lot about just you know, what it was we were doing, and she was always very encouraging and saying that they're going to want you more when you get older, that you'll grow in value. And it was really powerful. You know, she just was so great, and every time I asked her to do anything, she would do it. She just was on every thing that I did, every show I was doing, she would be a part of. And you know, we just became really close. And I would, like, whenever I would bomb, I would like really reach out to her, because that was like the worst. Oh, it's the worst. She was just
so the best was she would get so mad at the people for me. You know, when with our friends like that, when people, they're mad for you and they get madder and madder and madder. And it was a really protective thing. But yeah, she always gave me tons of her jewelry, which I never wore. That's not my style. But she gave me lots of perfume, lots of stuff, like always with gifts and things that I would just, it's not my style, but I'm so glad I have them. You know, what an incredible person. So it was weird when she died because it's so strange to think of somebody that was so alive to be dead. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at her funeral, we were all like just still in shock. But all of the people that spoke at her funeral, it's like Howard Stern and all these great sort of New York celebrities, they were all just talking about her, and people couldn't talk because they were just crying so much. And I think still, like, her death is still kind of something that's very odd. When I was in Hong Kong, I also bought her a little Yorkie dog, cardboard, and some jewelry and some cookies, and I burned that in the temple for her. But
she needed a Yorkie.
Yeah, she needed a Yorkie. She hasn't had one. She loved Yorkies.
I have a Yorkie.
Yes. Yeah. So it's a good breed, and it's a good dog to have. But it's very, her work ethic was something that I think we can both appreciate.
Appreciate so much.
You know, she was always going for it, going out and doing shit every day, which I think, you know, keeps your mind alive, which I think is really smart. I mean, that's the one thing I think about aging. I worry about dementia and things like that. Like, that's why I think, I've got to keep my mind alive. Yeah. So I try to, like, I learn new instruments, and I play music, and I do different kinds of things to try to keep myself agile mentally.
That's the best. I think, like, the more your mind works, the sharper you are.
Yeah.
Like, she's so sharp. She's so fast.
She was so fast.
I mean, like, before she went to the surgery, she was doing a set at, I think, in Upper West Side, this little club she goes to. Mm-hmm. I forgot the name of it. She just had a set, and I think she killed that set.
She always did so good. Yeah, she always did so good. And it's probably the cutting room. It's probably something like she just always was doing stuff, and I would go see her and I would be so embarrassed. Like, just her, she was so dirty. So I would be really embarrassed. And I tell dirty jokes. So I was like really like in shock, but she was just incredible. And she would never want to know when you were coming to see her, because she had stage fright, but only for people she knew in the audience. So she wouldn't talk to you until after the show. She wouldn't want to know if you were there. She just didn't want to know.
That's good.
So she was very nervous. Really cool. And also wanting always to do better than her male peers, which at one time we did this event at Kennedy Center. It was for the Mark Twain Award. They were giving to George Carlin. And so she was presenting, and she wanted to do all these jokes, and she wanted to make a good impression, and she wanted to do better than some of the male counterparts, which were like Gary Shandling and all these like sort of big comics. And of course she killed. She was the best in the night. But in a sense, it was like she was still competitive, still like, I got to be better than the boys. And she always was.
So that's so empowering to see, and I just it makes my heart feel so great. Like two of my favorite women got along so well, and she loved you, you loved her. Yeah,
she would have loved you.
Oh, because I always read all her audiobooks. She talk about you a lot as a funny way. She's like, so Margaret canceled that show, so they called me. Thank God. Blah blah. There's a gay cruise. Margaret was busy, so they called me after they called her. It was so cute.
So cute.
Yeah, it was so sweet.
I loved her. And I still think like, you know, her voice is in my head still, you know, years later. And after she died, I took over for her on Fashion Police, which is her show that she loved, you know, so I was able to continue her legacy. But it was really, that was one of the best relationships I've ever had.
Oh, wow. I can see you guys really, I can imagine, you know, I have like, in my comedy world, in my life, in my imagination, I would have my comedy heroes. I would have you giving me advice before even I met you. In my imagination, I was like, what would Margaret say?
Yes.
If somebody the show didn't go well, or which joke I should do. If I want to do abortion joke in Dallas, I really want to do that joke. I really do. I really do. And I'm like, I don't want to. That would be mad at me. Then I'm like, what would Margaret say? What would Joan Rivers say?
They would say, do it. Do it. And also sometimes when things don't go very well, that's just part of the landscape of comedy. Like, you know, sometimes things do not go well for me, and it doesn't matter because it's just another learning experience. And then you go to the next thing and it's like, oh, okay. It'll help you figure out more. Failure is the mother of success. So that's always what I'm like thinking, like when I'm like doing a set, it's not going well. And the next one will be good. You just have to keep going. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. That's so good. I always think about that because of my mind as this like daughter of a very strict Chinese mom. My father was an alcoholic, so he was never in my life. So my mom worked hard to raise 3 children, and she's very resentful of him. And she's too tired, I guess. She has no mind, no compassion to talk to me. If I ask for anything, it annoys her. She get mad at me. She's angry. She always screaming. And I don't know what is going on with me. And she's very strict about the sex and dating. I never date anybody when I was in high school. I started dating when I was in Kentucky when I was like 20 years old. That's when I lost my virginity, which is pretty late for America. I was 20. And I am heterosexual, and I don't think I would be gay. But I also thought about it. If I was raised in a different environment, I think I would be a lesbian. I could at least be bi, because I really love women. I enjoy being around women and being with women, and because it's just the energy, the feminine energy is like really beautiful, and it makes my heart feel comfortable, less toxic. But I also like because of my mom, she make me feel very shameful to do anything that's not traditionally right. So I cannot touch myself sexually. I've never touched myself. I never play with any toys. Whenever I have a toy close to me, I can hear her voice be like, "You are gross, you're disgusting, and you should die." So I couldn't. I tried. I talked to my therapy, and she thinks she can work through with me. I think it's just like I feel like sexuality is a lot with how we were raised. You are ashamed of the things that you should not be ashamed of. Like me touching myself, and me being like a bisexual woman who I would be dating a woman. I think I would die because my mom would never talk to me again. She would just hate me so much before I even think about it. Oh, do I like a woman? That's just like it's like a toxic shame shot down. Yeah, and it represses you before you're even able to discover like, do I even want this? So it's like a very it's really it's a problem. But also, like, if you think about like your mother's repression, like, why does she have to be so repressed? Like, maybe she wants that. Yeah, maybe she's a real freak. Yeah, and so she's like, no, what? She didn't want me to have the thing she wants. Yeah, she's like assuming all these things about you that like she wants. So I think sometimes that repression comes from this desire to want to do all these things, and then we pass it on to like make sure it doesn't happen to other people. But you got to escape from it. I mean, pleasure is something that's very easy to lose, because it's such a precious kind of thing that's needs to be safeguarded, and then all of these things kind of like can ruin it. So it's very tough. It's very tough, and I try to be very open with my children. Like my son, whenever I do my nails, he likes to get his nails done. I'll do it for him, pink and red. Yeah. My ex-husband, he would be so mad. He's like, what happens if he's gay? I'm like, well, that means he'll be better than you. Yeah. Well, when he's gay, I don't care. But that doesn't make people gay. It just makes you have colored nails. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Yeah, I think some people, like, when they grow up, when the little boy wear a little dress for fun, and the parents would lose their temper on that little boy, and he's afraid and ashamed of
being gay, and he would hate gay people, but deep down he may want to be gay too. And it's just like, it's confusing. I just feel like just let them be.
Yeah.
They are gonna be what they want to be.
Yeah.
I think parents like my generation, my mom, like from China, you are extension of their life, and you have to do all the things they didn't get to do. And if you don't do it, you should be guilty. And that's just so toxic.
It's really toxic, and it's really it's also really assume, why should they have the power over your life? Like, why should they have the power of your happiness or peace? You know, it's this assumption that they have the power, but they don't. They shouldn't.
They shouldn't. Yeah.
So it's really it's Confucianism.
Yeah.
You know, which is really damaging. I mean, Confucianism is, you know, good in some areas, of course, but in that idea that you have to live life for your parents is a very...
父言子存, a father's word, a son must obey.
It's not... It doesn't work like that.
That
Not
works
good.
well for controlling.
Yeah.
Like instill fear and control.
Yeah.
That works well for like instill fear in people and control them.
Yeah.
And unhappy fathers abuse their daughters.
Yeah.
They do, because they do not know how to love.
No.
If they don't love themselves. That's why I'm trying to learn to love myself. It's a new education. I'm reading the book, like respect your boundary and peace. I think find the peace, respect your boundaries, find your boundaries, things like that. And also like complex PTSD.
Yeah.
I have that too. And I just feel like it's so important for me to learn to love myself. I feel like if I can't really heal the boundaries problem, I just cannot date healthily. I'm just not going to be able to date a guy. I will always do something stupid, and I'll allow him to do something stupid, and then I hate him. And then I just also, like, as a boss, I love my assistants and I love the employee, and they will do things that's bad. I won't tell them. I feel bad to tell them. And then they keep doing it until I have to fire them. And then they were shocked. They're like, why will you fire me all of a sudden? Like, you didn't tell me anything wrong with me. So sometimes I'm like, I should learn to communicate, because it's hard to say no in Asian culture. You can't say no.
Of course. But it's also like, it's good service to say no. It's important to say no, or it's important to learn how to set those boundaries. Yeah. You know, before things get too, you know, like out of control. And but it's you know, it's something that we're learning.
I just want to thank you so much for having me at your beautiful home.
Thank you.
And being around your babies.
Yeah.
I would love to have you on my show at Ice House. I have it every month, and all of them I'll check your calendar first before I bug you.
We'll do it.
Yeah. And if you are missing some of Joan Rivers' jewelry, I'll be the one who stole it.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Margaret. I appreciate you. Hi, Lucia. Hi. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your website? People can
people can find me at margaretcho.com.
Yes, that's where you can buy tickets to see her on tour.
Yes.
See the legend on tour.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.